Welcome back to A Guiding Light 901 Online.
Thanks for having me.
So today we're diving into something pretty unique.
Yeah.
It's called the A Guiding Light GA Daily Journal.
Okay.
And it's specifically designed to be a companion on the road to recovery from gambling addiction.
Interesting.
What was it about this particular journal that grabbed your attention?
You know what's really interesting about this journal is it kind of blends the principles of Gamblers Anonymous with this practice of daily journaling.
Okay.
It's not just an empty book for random thoughts, right?
Right.
It's really structured in a way that's meant to guide your reflection. And it does that by using direct quotes from those key GA resources.
Okay, cool. So give us a breakdown of this for our listeners. What's the full title of this journal?
Okay, so the full title is a little bit of a mouthful. It's a Guiding Light GA Daily Journal with inspirational quotes from C. Nakken, a day at a time.
Wow, that is a mouthful.
It is.
But it's got a great tagline, too.
It does.
Right. Yeah. Record your road to recovery, gain inspiration and insight into the recovery process. Infuse an acute understanding into your emotional well-being.
Yeah. And I think that tagline really nails it because understanding your emotional well-being, that's really key in this whole journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
This journal actually includes quotes from Craig Nakken's A Day at a Time.
Oh, wow.
Which is, you know, like a Bible for a lot of people in Gamblers Anonymous.
Right, yeah.
And it also pulls content from page 17 of the GA Yellow Book.
Oh.
So it's kind of like having this little piece of a meeting, you know, with you at all times.
Yeah, I love that. So instead of just journaling freely, you're given these little prompts, these kind of nuggets of wisdom from GA literature.
Yes.
How would you say that changes the experience for someone using this journal?
I think what it does is it creates this structured space for reflection.
Right.
Because you know when you're faced with just a blank page, it's easy to kind of get lost in your thoughts or avoid certain emotions.
Yeah, that's true.
That are maybe difficult.
Right.
But when you have a quote, like attend as many meetings as possible per week.
Yeah.
Meetings make it. That immediately grounds you in a very core principle of GA.
It's almost like it gives you that nudge toward action, even when you're journaling alone.
Yeah.
And that specific quote is from page 17 of the GA Yellow Book.
Yes, it is.
Which seems to be woven throughout this journal.
Absolutely.
Alongside Nakken's A Day at a Time.
Yeah. In fact, each daily entry, and you get 2 full pages for each day.
Wow, okay.
Starts with a quote like that.
Okay.
And space for the date.
So it really emphasizes that integration of these principles into your daily life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's 74 pages of this guided reflection. That's a big commitment.
Yeah.
But it sounds like something that could become a real touchstone for someone.
Absolutely.
Recovery.
Yeah.
Now, for any of our listeners out there who are interested in checking out this GA Daily Journal for themselves, you can find it on Amazon.
Okay.
And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the Eigenlight 901 online channel for more deep dives into resources just like this one.
Absolutely.
I am so curious about some of these quotes.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of one that captures the overall tone of the journal?
Yeah. The quote for January 1st, right at the start of the year, it's from Nakken's book. And it says, "May I reapply it firmly each new day. May I learn not to stamp my past mistakes with that indelible word, forever.
Wow.
Instead, may each single day and each new year be freshened by my newfound hope."
I love that.
Yeah.
It's hopeful. It's focused on the present moment.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Not dwelling on the past.
Right.
But seeing every new day as a chance to reapply those principles of recovery.
Exactly.
And that emphasis on taking things one day at a time.
Yes.
That is fundamental to the GA program.
It really is.
So even in the, quote, selection, it's reinforcing those core concepts.
Absolutely.
So for our listener, imagine you start your day with this type of message.
Right.
How do you think that would set the tone for you?
I think.
For how you approach those challenges?
Well.
Or even just that daily grind of recovery?
What it encourages is a mindset shift.
Okay.
Instead of being overwhelmed by, you know, the whole road ahead, you're reminded just to focus on what you can do today. It's about taking it one step.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. Exactly. One step at a time.
It's like a mini affirmation practice.
It is.
Right. Starting your journaling with this really positive, action-oriented quote.
Absolutely.
And the layout having those 2 full pages for each day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of space
It is.
to really explore those thoughts.
And I think that's deliberate.
Yeah.
Because recovery isn't this simple, straightforward process.
Right.
You know, some days you might just need to jot down a few things. Other days you might have pages and pages
That's true.
of stuff to process.
Yeah. So it accommodates those ebbs and flows of the recovery process.
It does.
It's not rigid.
Right.
But it provides that framework.
It's like a container
Yeah.
for all the complexities of the journey.
I love that. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of complexities,
Sure.
I'm really curious to dive into some other quotes.
Okay.
And kind of see how they address different aspects of recovery.
Well, there's one from March 20th that really struck me.
Okay.
It says, first things first, to me, means that everything in my life depends on my refraining from gambling.
Wow.
It's powerful.
It is powerful.
It really gets to the heart of what matters.
It does.
And the foundational principle of abstinence.
Right.
In GA.
So for someone using this journal, how do you think, reflecting on that quote,
I think,
really putting it into their own words through journaling,
I think
how might that impact their actions throughout the day?
it connects that intellectual understanding of abstinence with that lived experience.
Right.
By writing about it,
Yeah.
you're forced to personalize it.
Right.
What does first things first actually look like for you in your life?
Yeah.
What are you putting at risk if gambling comes before everything else?
Yeah.
You know?
It's taking that abstract concept
Yes.
and making it concrete.
Absolutely.
And relatable to your own circumstances.
Yeah.
And that's where the journaling really comes into play. It's that bridge between the wisdom of these quotes and your individual journey.
Precisely. It creates that space
Yeah.
for internalizing those principles and figuring out how to apply them to your own unique situation.
So you're not just reading these quotes passively.
Right.
You're actively engaging with them.
Exactly.
Figuring out how they fit into your life.
Yes. And that active engagement is what leads to real transformation.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've only just touched on a couple of the quotes from this journal, but I'm curious.
Sure.
Did any of them offer a spiritual perspective?
There are definitely some that touch on spirituality.
Okay.
There's one for October 6th that stood out to me.
Okay.
It says, serenity is surrender to God's plan.
Wow.
And it speaks to this idea of finding peace through acceptance and trust in a higher power.
That's a concept
Yeah.
that can be interpreted in so many ways depending on someone's beliefs.
Absolutely.
But that core idea of surrendering to something bigger than yourself.
Yes.
Finding that serenity in that.
Something.
That's something that a lot of people in recovery can connect with.
Absolutely.
And this journal, it doesn't dictate how someone should interpret that quote.
No, it doesn't.
It simply provides the prompt,
Right.
the starting point for reflection.
Yeah, exactly.
So it respects the individual's spiritual journey while still offering that guiding principle.
Absolutely.
So for our listener,
Yeah.
imagine you're encountering that quote in the journal.
Okay.
How would you use that journaling space
Wow.
to explore what surrender means to you or how it relates to your recovery?
I think it's an invitation to explore your own understanding of a higher power, whether that's a traditional religious concept or something more personal to you, and encourages you to think about how letting go of control, trusting in something beyond yourself could actually bring you peace.
It's about finding your own meaning
Exactly.
within these broader concepts of spirituality and recovery.
Absolutely. And that personal meaning making, that's where the power of this journal really lies.
It sounds like this journal really does offer a lot
It does.
for someone on the road to recovery, and we are just getting started.
We are.
We've got so much more to unpack
We do.
about this GA Daily Journal. So stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive.
I'm looking forward to it.